the late Right Honorable former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. On the political scene, he was a colossus, and he has been mourned as a statesman, patriot, and a champion of democracy. But away from the political field, Raila Odinga was an enduring sportsman, a champion of Kenya's sports growth and an ardent lover of football, serving as the patron of Kenya's glamour club Gor Mahia for over 2 decades, while also professing his undying love for the English Premier League giants Arsenal FC. Steve Shitera looks at Raila's remarkable journey in the world of sport in this special report.
He often expressed his love for the beautiful game, even on political platforms. Using football commentary and metaphors to connect with the masses. And drive home his campaign messages as he sought the presidency. This mastery of the metaphor made the masses connect with him, and his demise has rocked the Kenyan sports world to the core. Arsenal fans from across the country on Sunday visited Kango Kajaramogi in Bondo town to pay homage to a fellow Ghana.
Baba was a staunch fan of Arsenal. It is by no mistake that if the home now is painted red, it is in honor of Baba. And all of us here are singing the songs that Baba used to sing.
A loyal Arsenal supporter who never shied away from showing his love for the Premier League side, even in seasons when they fell short of the trophy after dominating much of the campaign.
Me as an Arsenal fan, I love Raila because akuacha Arsenal hata kama tunasafa. Alikuwa hapo anasema timu ni moja. That's why we are here saying Joey, rest in peace Raila Odinga.
Apart from his love for Arsenal, Baba championed the growth of local sports, with football having a special place in his heart, serving as Gor Mahia patron for 21 years. His last public engagement was on October 3rd, 2025, when in his capacity as the club patron, he met the club's leadership, donating 10 million shillings to support the team and urging them to reclaim their dominance in Kenyan football.
Evening of 2nd of this month, I just got a call from him asking me to go to his home in the morning of Friday 3rd, and I was surprised at a donation to the club of 10 million shillings in cash.
FKF President Hussein Mohamed also recalls the immense contribution of the late former Prime Minister to the national football team Harambee Stars.
The country has lost an ardent supporter of sports, especially football, and I remember working closely with him in 2010 when I was the chair of the Harambee Stars Management Board, and he had shown his commitment not only as a leader in mainstream politics, but also in support of sports and particularly football.
During the just concluded CHAN tournament, co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, Raila alongside President William Ruto attended Stars matches to motivate players
500 each.
And even offered 500,000 shillings cash reward to each of the playing unit for their spirited performance on the pitch.
And let perpetual light shine upon him.
The lights may have gone off on Kenya's #1 football fan, but his legacy will continue to shine brightly. The best tribute to his memory, many say, will be to fulfill his dream to see Harambee Stars rise and conquer Africa.
Si pigo tu kwa wanasiasa na pia pigo kwa wanamichezo. Ukiangalia mtu kama Raila, alikuwa jamaa ambaye alikuwa so much passionate kwa sports, more so football. Ukiangalia during his young age, wakati alikuwa mbunge, alichezea Bunge FC, wakati alikuwa mbunge wa Lang'ata.
Even as calls mount on the state to honor his legacy by naming the Talanta Sports City Stadium, which is nearing completion after him. Steve Shitera for Sporty Monday, Nairobi.
Thank you, Steve Shitera, with that beautiful story. Basically summing up the footsteps of Baba in as far as football and sports is concerned. And of course, to bring that perspective, Baba's sport legacy, there's no better qualified person to talk about that, none other than Senior Counsel, Gor Mahia President Ambrose Dixon Otieno Rachir, a man who was born on a train 76 years ago. Good friend, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're 76, but you're fit than Jacob is here, who is 26.
Jacob is 26?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What's the trick?
I think the trick is sports. Yes.
Okay.
Do good exercise and regular, and then have some good food, good meal.
Good meal.
Yes.
You don't take those many things that Jacob partakes.
I don't know what Jacob partakes, but maybe he likes waru very much.
Okay.
And those are things that you need to eat in moderation.
Okay.
Right. So.
Yesterday I called you and you told me you were at Stanchard marathon running.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Good.
Yeah. So, Wakili, let's start from there. Baba, his demise, Kenyans are still mourning. But maybe take us back down the memory lane. When did you first meet Baba?
I first met Baba, I think, in the late 70s, when we used just to meet among football enthusiasts. He would come to the stadium and regularly participate, apart from, of course, knowing that he had been himself a player in the 60s. But I didn't meet him in the 60s. I saw him in the 60s as I watched football from the Nairobi City Stadium, popularly known as Tok Komwanda, where I started watching football just from the trees, because I couldn't afford to come in. But I would see him seated somewhere in the on the opposite side. If you know where Tok Komwanda is, there are trees, and you face the main, what you can call the VIP area. I would see him there and admire him because he always talked about football. Subsequently, when he had taken part in bringing together the Gor Mahia Football Club, I could hear wrangles about Luo Union and Luo Union and another sports club. So he and late Tom Boyer and others came together and formed the club of Gor Mahia Football Club. So I saw him taking part in the formation of the club in 1968. Yes, 68. At that time, I was 19 years old. I think older than Jacob is here at that time.
And Baba was maybe 25.
He was about,
he was around that time.
Yes, he was about 25. So I saw him in, first of all, bringing together what sometimes disturbs teams when there is division, and bringing together Gor Mahia. So he took part in the formation of the club in 1968. And later on, of course, he told me about his early playing football in Luo Sports Club, and then also in East Germany in the late 60s when he was a student of engineering in East Germany at a place called Magdev. Then I also met him now in another capacity in 1982 when there was an attempted disturbance of the government of the Republic of Kenya in 1st August 1982. And when now, in another capacity as a lawyer, I was engaged, or he engaged me to represent him during the 6 years that he was in detention from 1982 to 1988, something that I hesitantly talk about myself from a legal capacity, issues of confidentiality. I met him in that other capacity. But one thing, so during that time, there was kind of a gap in his participation in football due to that kind of absence. Then I met him again, now in terms of football legacy, football leadership. I met him in 2007, strictly in the field of politics first.
Actually, that year, it's the year you ran for
Yes, I ran for parliament unsuccessfully, and then made a decision that I, instead of just serving the community as a member of parliament, I should serve the community in the field of sports. And that is when I joined Gor Mahia Football Club. And I want to explain this entry, which I have described as...
it was a coup. You were literally forced down. I
was literally forced down. I used to have a law firm, an office at Reinsurance Plaza.
In the city center.
In the city center, and I think on the seventh floor there. And just one Sunday morning, when I was doing my work as a lawyer, some preparation, I had a very noisy encounter from outside. In fact, the security were complaining that there are people who are trying to make an unlawful entry into the law firm, and they actually overwhelmed the security. And I was surprised when they announced that, look, we have identified you and you are going to be the Gor Mahia chairman. You have no choice. So can we go to the city stadium and get elected? I knew the then chairperson,
Mr. Okul,
Rastas Amondi Okul, and I told them that, look, this is a very unfair way of getting elected to become the chairperson, and could we... They actually drove my pickup, and I was a passenger in my own vehicle. When I got to the stadium, I then met a very, very wild crowd and say, Mr. Chair, you have to be the chairperson of Gor Mahia. I told them, look, let's look at the constitution, and you must have an election.
And let's do it procedurally.
Let's do it procedurally. So I said, okay, can you give me a week to consult the chair? So in consulting the chair, at that time, the patron was already the departed patron of Gor Mahia, Raila Odinga. And I requested Rastas, who himself said, look, this is a very difficult job, and really, if you can take it up, I would have no objection to your coming in. But we said, okay, let's follow the constitution. I am a lawyer, and I would not want just things to be done outside the law. So he then said, look, let's go and consult the patron about it, and because I also don't want to quit in this manner. So we then went to his offices, and he said, are you willing to take this? He says, I am. Then he also directed that go and do a proper election. So the following Sunday, we went to the same city stadium. The wild crowd was still there. And they said, look, there are rules also of unanimous election. Yes. We don't have to contest. So I really didn't have any opponent. They actually elected almost everybody by acclamation, except the assistant organizing secretary. There was a bit of dispute. So that's how I came in. He said, please make sure that you do good leadership and remove the kind of pressure that comes to me as the club patron.
Now, taking you back, unbeknownst to many, Baba was a former sportsman. He actually played football.
Yes.
Luo Union, if I'm not wrong, in the formative years.
Yes, he did.
And also was one of the key players for Bunge FC for quite a long time.
Yes, that's true. I think for a long time, and I think up to about 2012, 2011, I saw him playing a very big role in the parliament team. And looks like a number of my politicians that I know actually play a very central role in the parliament team. I remember Honorable Peter Kenneth, who was a goalkeeper at Starehe football school, eventually getting into football politics in, I think, the 96 as a president of the federation. I also remember Raila Odinga playing football in parliament, and currently the captain of the Bunge FC is
Raila
MP, my partner in law practice, Otiende Amolo. So it looks as if I have...
And I think also the late Joe Abomino, who also was very, very strong in football,
very
former
strong.
Federation chief.
Yeah, Federation chief.
And now, Akili, the question is, I think one of Baba's last public engagements, if I'm not wrong, and this was the Friday of 3rd,
yes,
he actually hosted you with the executive at his current residence, and donated 10 million towards the club. Yes. And I think it was shortly after that that the rumors regarding his health began swirling around. Maybe paint a picture for us. How was it on that Friday morning, May 3rd, when he hosted you guys at Karen?
Yes, let me first of all paint a picture of how this happened to be. I had been out of the country on family reasons, and I returned on Thursday evening, and as soon as I landed, I got a call from his personal assistant that said, Chairman, you must. The patron wants you at his home with your team, entire team, at 9 o'clock on the dot, if you could come. So I tried to inquire what was the urgency, and he says, look, I cannot explain, please just report. So on that morning, we then gathered together. I put together our executive committee members, and then got to his home in the morning, and surprisingly, he spent apart from being welcomed by Madam Ida, who gave us very good breakfast. We spent 2.5 hours with ours, and various attempts were being made to ask him, there are people waiting, and he said, no, I am with Gorma here. And at the end of it, without kind of any solicitation, he came up with a big bag, and then presented to us a hard cash of 10 million shillings. To our surprise, then indicated that he was not very happy with the performance of the club the previous year in the league, and said, please, can we have early trophies? Also said, I expect good performance of the club at the ODM tournament that was organized in Baraki.
At 20 years.
Yes, ODM at 20, where we participated. And I assured him that we were going to do our best, and also fairly, to bring the KPL League Cup, or FKF as we call it. The surprising thing to me was that we, after winning the ODM
at 20 tournament,
tournament, I actually sent him a message and told him, okay, I know you are out of the country.
By this time, he was already in India, right?
Actually, did not know where he was myself. I just knew he was out of the country. And then I sent him a message asking him to let us know when he's back and when we can now present to him the trophy
that you guys won. How was his mood like these 2 hours? As you
very, very jovial, and in his usual form. He's a good storyteller, usually about football, about genealogy, even politics and everything. Whenever he sits down with you, he appears to be really a guru in almost every field, but his love for football, in particular, it was amazing. He always gave a good history of the beginning of the Gossage Cup in 1926, things that we don't know about. And I challenged him, patron, you need to write a book purely dedicated to football, which he agreed to do. He said,
I know there's one that has been done, Flames of Freedom, which is cumulative, capturing every sphere of his life.
Right. Good.
And again, Wakili, you've known Baba for so long. You are nearly age mates. But at one point, you held his legal brief. I'm also even referring to the deeply contentious 2007 elections. You're among the team of lawyers who worked on that petition, basically playing the role of a desk lawyer.
Right.
Shed more light on this, on probably the work you did with him also during those difficult political moments.
Well, it's really difficult to share the work of a lawyer without breaching the professional rules. But what we did was just to take instructions in the 2007 elections, which were completely duly contested. And the lead lawyer, interestingly, because I normally do background work, research, and support. You need to do a lot of research as a lawyer to be able to file your case. And here again, the team in my office was led by the Nariada MP, the one who appeared. Yes, but you see, in legal practice, particularly litigation, you always don't have to win, but you have to do your best. So we did not win. The next one that happened again, I think, was later on. Again, I think this was the 2017. At least this one, my partner and our team went through when the elections were nullified, and then rerun was ordered, but you could see he opted
not to. That was 2017.
2017, yes.
Yeah, and again, Council, the question is, when we lost Baba, we saw the club, and I want to believe it had your blessings, issue a statement saying we've picked Honorable Eliud Owalo as now the new club patron. But the question everybody's asking, why was there a rush in that when people were still grieving? Help us understand what was the rationale.
Just a bit of correction. Our statement was not to pick him to be the new club patron. Something that followed, and the statement I said, we do not, nature, of course, and governance abhors a vacuum. So we said he should step in as the club patron so that we don't have a vacuum in the club. That was very, very clear. We did not pick him. You see, he was already substantively appointed as the deputy patron. And it also makes sense in our constitution that, when in the absence of the patron, by whatever means, sickness, death, and all that, the club deputy patron
takes over.
Right.
And now the question is, you've painted or detailed how Baba was not happy with the performance last term, and in that meeting he said, I want to go to perform better. Now, this is a new term, and probably in his honor, in his memory, in his legacy, what can you as the club president promise the Kogalo fans, the Kenyan football stakeholders? What are we going to see differently from Kogalo in honor of Baba?
Well, one of the discussions that I had with our departed patron, and in those last moments that I had the blessing of being with him. In fact, I do not think there was any other public meeting that he had with anybody. I requested him to support the transformation of our club into a corporate body, or to emulate the example of Simba and Yanga, which have kind of moved. People are asking us that, look, Gor Mahia used to be ahead of everybody in East Africa as a football.
Absolutely.
What is so difficult about, why are you almost at the tail end in performance, governance, finances, and all these kind of things. So you say, look, you have to benchmark. And I told him we had benchmarked. They say implement, go corporate, or use the model. And I had, just a few weeks before that, been to visit Simba, to attend the Simba Day. And we discussed the issue, why can't we even raise good money at the entrance of, why can't we go look at, forget about these donations and community support, etc. Why don't we just make it like a business in the corporate world? So that is one thing that he said upon his return, he would get an opportunity to at least appeal to our people. Because whenever you want to make changes in our club, people say, oh, you are taking away the community. So I requested him, please, can we draw this line about community with poverty and being supported financially, or making it independently in governing a different system of governance? So in short, what I'm saying is that he endorsed or advised that we should look at the club management in a different way instead of getting into contentious elections, which just bring divisions and no development in the club. That is something that he took.
On a lighter note, some call you Mugabe at Gor Mahia because you've stayed there since 2008.
It's almost 18 years.
Actually, in 3 years from now it will be?
Almost the age of Jacob is here now. I think he must have been born.
But giving credit to it, you've injected some stability there that we have to give it to you. But for how long is Rachir going to lead the club, or what are you seeing in the future?
That is the question. I thank you for asking this question. Because in the last elections, issues that people went to the tribunal. They filed 7 cases at the tribunal to make sure that I was removed, and I think the clear ruling from the tribunal was that yes, there's a constitution that imposes a term of limit of 8 years, and for sure the 8 years will be over in 2028, and I will not run again. But I also hope that we will be able to have transformed the club and to take the model of Simba and Yanga. When I talked, I met Mo, the chairperson of the board of Simba. He said, look, it's a melange, it's a mixture that, you can have those elections, but it has to be done in the corporate way, so that the elections would be of directors, not chairman, secretary, and all kind of thing. Be directors who serve in that.
Absolutely.
Right.
We're running out of time, but I want you to respond to these 2 questions real quick. The question of stadia, but from where I sit, maybe that's punching way above, but by now it should have been done. Let's start with the basics. You still lack a training ground of your own.
Right.
Probably tell the Kogalo nation what the time frame for this. And 2, there's now a tired phrase, tulipewa wanjani kule Kasarani, which has never come to fruition. Actually, even before Kasarani, the late President Daniel Moi was another big supporter of sports. He donated to you guys land somewhere in Bakassi, which I believe had been eaten by some other forces by now. But give us a time frame, right briefly. And 2, could we see Rachir again go back to the political ring?
Thank you. Let me answer the last one first. I have no intention of going into the political ring. If I were to do that, it's now 20 years, almost. In the next 2 years, I will have been out of politics for 20 years. Some evidence that I have no intention of going back there, apart from other factors that at this age.
How about running for FKF presidency?
No, nothing of that sort. The last time I contested was in 2016. And what I normally do is I face realities. You will see, you know, when you see the way things are operating, then you say, okay, do I have to? What is the benefit? Mine was to serve the community, which I think I have done to my best. You will see we have
had the trophy for 21 times, and who is number 2, and what have they done? Is it 12 times or so? To me, that is what I look at evidence, but I'm trying to digress a little. So politics, no, an emphatic no. That's politics of, say, parliamentary, governorship, senator. You will not find me there, and you will see that from 2007, I've never made any attempt anywhere to go to that politics. Now, the politics of football, I'm also saying at the federation level, count me out of it. Count me out on it. And at God level, again, I'm not going to involve myself, but I want to get myself involved in the transformation so that you leave a legacy, something different from what we found. When I joined God, money was being raised through some cup and going around the stadium. Do I want to leave
literally
that?
A begging bowl.
Yes, so that is number one on the politics. Now, on the story of the stadia, the Embakazi story is very well known, that the land was allocated and one member of parliament at that particular time, for political reasons, allowed people to invade it, and therefore it becomes a very difficult thing to deal with at that particular time. So we say let it pass. So when we then dealt with Kasarani, legal issues came in as to, okay, is it government land? Is it something that can be allocated? There's a technicality. That's my line of practice, land law and conveyancing. So maybe, I don't want to be technical and explaining why we could not get it. So we have ruled it out, and that's why our current acting patron is completely committed to getting land which has nothing to do with allotment or so that we can purchase. And we will be coming out with some announcements on timeframes for putting up.
How soon could we expect that announcement?
I am unable to say that because I am not the decision maker. I think the person to announce this is the acting patron, Eliud.
Wow.
Or Wallo.
Absolutely. We have to leave it at that. Talking about Gor Mahia, we can go on and on for 1 or 2 hours, but we'll have another platform to do so.
Right.
And of course, on that basis, we are asking you, what should the sports sector do to honor the legacy of former Gor Mahia patron, Raila Amolo Odinga? We want to take a brief commercial break, but when we return on the other side, we are going to sample some of your thoughts, including going all the way to Bonn, Germany, to link up with Bruce Samani, who is going to bring us all the latest regarding the Bundesliga football. And of course, Wakili, thank you very much for making time for the program.
Thank you.
Look forward to engaging again.
Thank you.
And of course, that was Gor Mahia FC President Ambrose Dixon Otieno Rachier speaking to us here on Quickfire Sporty Monday. Stay tuned. See you the other side of the break. Welcome back. Of course, if you're just joining us, this is Sporty Monday. And of course, before we sample some of your thoughts regarding the question of the day, Steve, maybe 30 seconds to give your respect to Baba.
I think this is someone I've really covered for my entire life in journalism since I joined the industry. Baba, I've shared some time with him. And I remember, I think it was in 2019 when I covered him in Mombasa during the Mashujaa Day. And the interview was only 20 minutes. But I spent with Baba more than 2 hours. He was a storyteller, as Chairman has told you. He would tell you stories cutting across all sectors of life, social, economic, political, family. He was a very happy man, very humble, welcoming, all the good things we will talk about Baba until, as you say, evening. But what I will say, that he has left us with the wisdom he instilled in us. We can only rise up and carry on his ambitions in life and whatever he wanted us to do. And the only way to celebrate Baba is to implement whatever he talked of and whatever he taught us to do. I will not cry because Baba leaves us with a rich, rich, rich legacy.
Actually, it's a celebration of a life well lived. Ziti?
You know, Baba was my MP in Kibra when I was young. So in Kibra, he was my MP, voting. Of course, he used to vote at Kibra Primary, and me just opposite Raila Education. So every time we were going to vote, utauliza atakuja sangapi, so that you vote early and then go home, because it has a lot of people will come and just escort him when he was going to vote at Kibra Primary. And I know a lot of people ask me, how did I know Luo? Kijaluo. There's in 207 there was only one song that someone you will have to sing to it when you're in Kibera. Munataka nani warembo wangini, you know. So a little bit, you know, by knowing that song you'll know one or two words from the Luo community. And I celebrate him as my MP. I celebrate him as a leader of the country, and again as someone who loved sports so much.
Yes, sir.
You know, Suila, it's very difficult to say something about Baba in 30 seconds or even 10 minutes. Because people are still paining. People are feeling their pain yet. Because there's a person who, I don't know what God had put in him, that he never used to do much to convince people to do things, including the support for sport, for example. Just one word and things just happen. Within sports spectrum and beyond, that is something Kenya is going to miss, maybe forever. A person who would come and without campaigning, just one word, and if people maybe were, you know, angry, they calm down. It's something that we are going to miss. But let me say, like what my fellow youth leader, Ward Mary, bila shaka Oburu Odinga, you know, those who do not know, he said that Baba was not doing things to be seen, especially when it came to sports. For example, what Rachel was telling us just a few minutes ago, many people do not know, like, for example, that money was given and all that. So this was, I would pray. People are already discussing what can be done, you know, to honor Baba. And I would say that, please, let those who have the strength and the ability do what they can do for sport and everything else, without necessarily not to pursuing something.
Absolutely.
What we're finding vitu behind the scenes to push the game ahead. Absolutely.
This and much more, of course, will come later on Swila's shot. But Shtera and the panelists, what I remember in 2010, during the promulgation of the new constitution, the Constitution 2010, back then I was a news reporter. I was not really into sports, and I was basically assigned to go cover. There was an event, a late-night event at Carnival Grounds, where now the country was celebrating the promulgation of the new constitution. And in that event, the creme de la creme, name it, the elite political players were there, members of the diplomatic corps were all there, and it was free. People were just interacting, mingling freely. You could walk and have a tete-a-tete with Baba or with anyone. And actually, he sponsored that event. That's how that new constitution was dear to his heart. So I remember that night as if it was yesterday, but this was some 15 years ago. And what really stood out was his charisma, how the night went down. People just had fun. It's easy. So we say, rest in peace, Baba. And on that note, let's sample some of your thoughts or feedback. We'd asked you, what should the sports sector do to honor the legacy of Baba? Are they ready? There we go. That's Duncan Musida. Yeah, they're saying?
I think they should start a pre-tournament at every end of the season and name it Raila Cup. Something like something that feature teams from NSL, 8 teams, and Kenya Premier League. Maybe the 8 and start at round of 16 to honor our hero because he was a lover of football. Hata ungeona ako field kuona games na kupeana pesa za kuboost team.
That's Duncan Musida. We have someone else there.
Patroba anasema, Indeku anasema, build stadium for him. Build a stadium for him.
Elio when says, naming a stadium by his name.
Naming a stadium by his name.
And then Henry Wenjet anasema, change Talanta Stadium to Raila Odinga Stadium. Yeah.
And of course, those are your thoughts, what you think we can do to honor the memory of Baba. Keep them coming. We'll sample some of them at the tail end of this program. Now, still matters football. Kenyan clubs